Welcome to Worlds Collide, a wrestling card podcast for wrestling fans by wrestling fans, featuring Tony Vella from WrestlingTradingCards.com.
This is like a stock market.
And Zhan Morning from Wrestling with Cards on YouTube. And I'm not saying there's a right or wrong answer, I'm just posing the question. Join them as they navigate the world of wrestling cards, helping you build a bigger and better collection and making some money along the way. What's up, wrestling fans and trading card collectors? Worlds collide again, and this episode is brought to you by you, the listeners. We put this poll out for a This Is Your Card. I gave a whole bunch of options, and
I did that.
The Rock wins. I mean, of course, right?
Like, of course he wins.
What the Rock, you could talk a little about Roman Reigns, but The Rock has been on fire lately. I think The Rock is single-handedly bringing wrestling cards, modern wrestling cards, into the forefront of people's eyes, and the dollar amounts that I don't think people saw in wrestling cards. I mean, just the other day we saw at the time of recording the other day, there were two raw gold parallels, $10,000.
I know, and they were not even a high number, like number to 50 or something like that.
All
right?
the golds are 50s, yeah.
Yeah, it was like ridiculous. Paid for.
So The Rock is running roughshod on the wrestling card hobby, laying the smackdown. And today we are going to talk about his cards. And I think this maybe will help a lot of people out there, because I often see people saying, what cards do I buy? Well, here's an example. This is one reason why I wanted to do this type of show with This Is Your Card, which kind of started out as a joke when we first started doing them. And we talked about having the like Frank Sinatra style opening theme song to go with it. But it's actually evolved into a really good learning tool, I think, for people who say they like The Rock, or, go back to episode 1 that we did of this Brutus Beefcake, and they just don't know where to go for those specific cards. So that's what we like to do with these shows. So we're going to kick it off with the rookie card or the first card. Tony, what do you got?
This is your card.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Rookie card. Me.
Here we go.
I'm different in this. I'm different in this respect because I'm going by the card. Okay. I'm not a sticker guy in that respect. I understand the market dictates that we've talked about it. I preach that as well. I'm not a fan of the 97 Panini sticker. I'm going with the 98 Comic Images Superstars card, card number 8. I also like card number 15. Both of those cards are really nice cards, Net. It's also the release that features his first official autograph card as well.
Huge card right now. Huge card.
So that whole set in itself is very almost iconic in that sense, because it features so much great stuff in The Rock, some good Owen Hart stuff in there, Stone Cold stuff in there. There's a great list of people in there. To me, also China's first card. I think I don't care about the sticker. I still talk about the card. I'm going with the Comic Images duo cards, however you want to call them. That.
Yep. I will talk a little bit about the Comic Images later on in this episode. But for me, I'm going to pick not that card, and also not the Tuna Fish Bumblebee football card. I'm going to pick anything from 1997. And I say anything because you've got numerous cool images in this Panini stickers. You've got the Cardinal Trivia Game card. You've got the magazine cards that it's not really his card. No. But he's like pictured in it or mentioned in it as part of a group or in an action shot or something like that. So I think maybe I don't know. I almost want to say my play on this is a little bit different because it gives you more options. Like everybody picked out that specific Panini card or sticker, excuse me. Mm-hmm. And that was the one that everybody seems to be pushing. But then I was like, well, if you look at the other images in this same set, or even the 1997 Cardinal Trivia was like the Rock card to have for how long, and people still want it. Like, I still think it's a cool card. So, but are those even cards? It just depends on what your taste is. I mean, if you're a super collector, you got to have them all, but it just depends on what you're like. If you want to go with a traditional pack pulled thing, go with what Tony said. If you want to go outside the box, more of the oddball stuff, you can go with some of the stuff from 97, or even that football card if you want to go back further. But for me, it's the 97 stuff. But yeah, I like both. And
you don't go wrong either way.
No.
I mean, you really don't. But for me, if I'm looking at something I want to look at as demon, this is my definition of a rookie card. I'm going to go with the 98. I don't even consider the football cards not even in the equation. It's a football card. So I don't even care about that. That's not even in the equation for me.
All right, cards to invest in. And I think this is, I mean, let's open the floodgates, right? Is this, are we to the point with The Rock where anything is good? Kind of like
Almost anything is
Michael
good.
Jordan.
I really think it's a great example. I think that he's the Michael Jordan of wrestling, and I just think that from a value standpoint, for sure, monetary standpoint, anything with his face on it, man, just seems to sell. I don't care if it's going to be consider his early stuff, anything that's even modern that's numbered, refractor, X fractor, super fractors, gargantuous fractors, whatever the hell you want to call them. Whatever they are, it just is. If it has his face on it and it's numbered, especially, it's going to go for money, and it's going to be a great card to invest in.
Yeah. Even the base stuff, like just a base subset, non-parallel, all that stuff still sells. Like people just love The Rock, and I don't know if it's, is it the wrestling fans? Is it the people who just know him as a pop culture icon that are like, I want a card of him, but maybe they can't find some of the, there are those, like, we know there's those non-sport cards out there of him, not a lot of them, but they do exist. And maybe they're just like, oh, well, I can go spend $4 and pick up this, Rock card from, 2 years ago in a subset or something like that, because they want something to connect with. And it's a cheap way to do it and get into the hobby that way. And then who knows what happens from there? Maybe they go buy a rookie card or an autograph or something like that. So I'm with you. Like
his non-sport stuff though is so cheap though. It really is. Outside the autograph cards that he had, I know we talked about this before because he's got the autograph from Scorpion King, Mummy Returns, and then the only card that he signed as Dwayne Johnson is from the movie Doom. They made a card set for that as well. But you go back, even that Mummy Returns set, that Mummy Returns set, Inkworks was notorious for doing the same cookie cutter thing every time. You have your, whatever it is, be a 72 card or 90 card base set. Then you would have like a 9 card puzzle set that you had to put together. It's like that. Then you had a 6 card chase set. Then you would have your autographs and, or what they call pieceworks. They call them pieceworks cards, which were just, relic swatch cards. So The Rock was featured. The Scorpion King was the 9 card puzzle set from that Mummy Returns like that. So that's, if you really want something kind of cool, they've made uncut sheets of that, and you can get all 9 cards. You could also make the 9 cards, put them in sleeves or have them framed like that. It's a cool piece too, and it's super inexpensive. Yeah. If you're just a fan of The Rock but want something cheap, that's cool right there.
There you go. All right, so favorite card. I'm going to take this first because I got to piggyback on what you said earlier. That Comic Images card number 8 is like probably one of my favorite Rock cards of all time. It's just a throwback to the classic, and maybe this because I like the 82 All-Star stuff so much. I love the classic static image with just a blank background, or the color or whatever it is. But when I look at this picture, it's everything that I remember. Like both of his cards, is it 15 or 16, whichever 15. The other one is. I like that one too because
you got this one.
That's it. That's my favorite Rock card. And both of them, you look at both of them, and it takes you right back to 1998, right in the middle of the Attitude Era. Raw is War, People's Eyebrow, that classic Intercontinental Champion. Oh, and you got the Road Dogg in there as a bonus.
There you go.
So yeah, it's just iconic. Like, and no, it's not. I wouldn't say it's overproduced, but it's one of the more readily available Rock cards out there. But you know what? So is the 86 Fleer Michael Jordan. And people still clamor after that because it's an iconic image. And
what is that card going for these days, by the way, when it comes to that Comic Images card? Is it
raw $30-$40?
Okay. Yeah.
So very affordable.
Very, very affordable for, probably arguably the, most known celebrity on the planet, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my, and I've had several of them in the past. I had some 8s. And I sold them. I actually needed some money to go to a vehicle at a time, which I don't talk about that much. It's like the one time I've ever pulled money out of the hobby to pay for a non-hobby thing. But I recently got a PSA order back, and I got one of these in a 7. But I want to keep one, but I do want it in a higher grade if that ever. I've got a stack of them, so we'll see what they grade out, and hopefully one of these days I can get a 10, and then that will be in the PC. But the other Rock card I want to talk about, 2020 Chrome. there's something about that picture and that design. It's one of his newer images, so it almost kind of bookends. Like you got the rookie card, and then you got like the last card, the newest card that they made of him, and he's just standing there with his fist up in the air.
Yeah.
And I think I have like half the rainbow at this point. I did just kind of happen. Like I didn't set out to say, okay, I want all these. I just kept seeing them, and I'm like, man, this is cool, and this is cool. And the other thing is, I've ran into people that are now collecting. They're going after that same thing. So more people than me like that card, and it doesn't matter if it's base, refractor, green, X fractor. Like something about that 2020 Chrome, specifically with this rock card, I just really gravitated to.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a great classic shot. It's like that. It's nice that you said that it's bookended on both sides like that. So you got something a little definitely from obviously way later in his career, and then something from the very beginning or earliest careers like that. Those are both great cards. Yeah, I for me, I'm going with the same. I'm classic. I like the 98. I like both card number 8, number 15. Those are just great. I think it gets overlooked though too. Back in that same era time, is because I came and I got heavily involved in that WWE Raw Deal card game.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of cool images that were used from were selected for those cards. They're just perfect. We're talking, this is 2000, 2001, 2002, but most of it's 2000. He was part of that inaugural set, that premiere set that came out. You had The Rock, Stone Cold, Undertaker, Jericho, Kane, and Mankind were the 6 first, starter decks that came out for Raw Deal. And The Rock, he was one of the promo cards. They made a lunch pail that had featured him and Stone Cold on it. So like that. You had exclusive like Rock promo pack cards that were inside of it with Rock and Stone Cold cards. They used some really cool images back then, and it's super hard to find those in great condition too. And I think they're very overlooked. That could be worth some good money, I think. So, I mean, hell, his 2003 Raw Deal Survivor Series 3, which was like a reprint, and they did stuff called throwback versions of cards. They have a throwback Rock's Patent Foot Stomp. It sells for like over $300, which is a high-end card for Raw Deal. That if you got that in a high grade, I'll bet you that's an easy $1,000 card, no minimum.
Do you think, and let's take a sidebar just for a minute on this. Do you think that people just still aren't looking at Raw Deal stuff because they want something that's more in front of them, as far as like they can tell, if you get this parallel, it's out of this amount. If going for one of one, stuff like that. Do you think it's too hard for people to kind of wrap their heads around rarity of Raw Deal when it comes to comparing?
No, I think what they don't understand. I think people look at Raw Deal and go, "What's a card game? I don't care."
Gotcha. So maybe a little bit.
It's not like the other card game. It's not like the
Cardinal,
the card 97 Cardinal games. It's not like that where it just has a picture of him, yellow border, and a name. This actually has a small little box, supposed to be look like the Titantron, with the big old bars like that around it, and it has a lot of text on it. It tells you what that card does because it has special powers and does this, that, and the other, and fortitude and damage and all those other things. I think people are turned off by that. Because it's like, it's not really, it's a card game, like a really wordy card game. I don't want to deal with that. But I think they're missing the boat. I think they're missing out on some of that stuff. Matter of fact, let me show you. For those who can view this at some point in time, I'm going to share something with you guys because I've been saving it. I'm definitely going to hold on to it and do something with it. That's a premier Raw Deal card right there that I have found in like an amazing condition that I'm absolutely going to have graded someday.
And the classic Rock those shirts that he always wore,
which will play into my fantasy. Don't you worry about fantasy part of this way. So because I have that, and then you look at it and you go, okay. From that, I also have. It's hard to find these cards and gradable type stuff. I found it a beautiful Stone Cold one from Premier. I mean, most of them you'll find they're whited on the edges because they're foiled. I just think these are going to be amazing. I think it's grossly overlooked. So if I'm giving away anything, I don't care. People go out there and
honestly, it's what we're here to do, educate. So
I saved. I bought a collection not too long ago that I forgot that I had. I'm like, I'm going to keep this. I have the Undertaker one, which is highly desired. I mean, he goes for good money just for that. It's a great image too.
Yeah, great period of the Undertaker's career.
And all the Raw Deal cards, like these are called the face cards. It has your ability on it, tells you what your hand size is, your superstar value. They all have facsimile autographs on them too, which is so cool too.
Yeah, just an added bonus.
It's like a bonus. So yeah, I'm 100% having those sent in to be graded. I've got a whole slew of stuff right here, but I think they get overlooked. I think some of those things are some of my favorite looking cards. I think they should people should look at that kind of stuff, man. They're just fun, cool cards that really capture that era because they're in a
Agreed.
TV. They look like they're on a TV, and you're playing a card that makes you look like you're in a TV, like you're watching it.
Yeah, I agree. And I'll full transparent. I am constantly looking at them, and I just it's hard for me to like figure it out. Like I'm like, okay, do I buy this based off image? Do I try to go for the rarity? Like so.
Buy because you like it, just like everything
Yeah.
else. Buy because you know what? I think it looks cool. I think it would look even cooler if it was slabbed. I think it look cooler next to my other card, X, Y, and Z. I don't care. You buy it because you think it's cool. I don't care that it has text all over that tells you what it does. I don't care about that. I like these cards because of the way they look. And I think, and it takes me
Okay.
right back to that time frame from 2000, 2001, 2002 era. It takes you right back to that time frame.
There we go. So food for thought for any of you guys looking at Raw Deal. Now let's go from something that could potentially be the best to what's the worst. What do you think the worst rock card is in your opinion?
Anything that picks him, I know that we kind of similar on this, and it goes right back to my stuff anyways. I don't really like action shots too much.
Same.
But to be even more particular about it, I've seen some of the cards. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head card numbers, releases like that. There's a few cards of him like doing like people's elbow or something like that. Don't care for it. Just don't care for it. Yeah. However, that plays into something that when we do our fantasy as well that I want.
All right. So on mine, it's the same similar thing, except when I was going through a lot of his cards, I keep seeing these images of him doing the rock bottom. And usually it's a card, it's a picture from either his back or his opponent's back. And either way, I just think it looks horrible. And again, to be completely transparent in the fact that you guys don't have to like what we say, we're just giving our opinions. I recently got back a 2020 Topps Finest gold refractor of the rock. And it's a short print to begin with. And then to pile on that, it's a gold out of 50. And he's given the rock bottom to, it looks like Baron Corbin in the picture. And like, I just hate the image. It's a cool looking card, but I hate the image. And I've got it listed up on eBay right now at the time of recording at a pretty high price. And I have quite a few watchers on it. So people like this card and they like the rock still, despite us not liking images of action shots like that. So just thought I'd throw that out there.
Now, speaking of all the stuff that we talked about so far when it comes to rock cards, one thing we never really talked about this particular, superstar that we've talked about everybody else is, approximately how many cards of his exist.
That's right. Completely slipped my mind.
There's according to the trading card database, there's a little bit short of 1,200 cards, which seems very low considering some of the other cards. Which, by the way, I'm looking at the on their website right now. And when you go to their website, type of person, it kind of gives like a a marquee of like featured cards. Half of them are raw deal cards.
There you go.
It's showing like right now the partnership. There's the AKA from I'm drawing a blank now. And you got the Rock versus Undertaker versus Edge. Like, and there's a Rock. There's like that Kodiak, that 24 karat gold signature card. There's a Raw Deal Enforcer card. It's crazy.
Well, I think we've been giving away some secrets, so hopefully hopefully listeners will be taking advantage of that, and hopefully it works for them, whether it's for a monetary gain or whether it's to add awesome things to their PC for somebody not named The Rock, because we've talked about it before. There's tons of talent out there and in those raw deal cards that may fit people's PCs. So
yep.
All right, let's move on to the card that we would create. We always have a lot of fun with this, and you've mentioned this like 3 times now, so I'll let you go ahead and start.
I had to think about this one before because you had your show notes before I did, as always, because you're always so prompt about that kind of stuff. But I'm just kind of going flying by the seat of my pants here. I thought it'd be kind of cool to have what I would call an autographed triple threads type of card, featuring basically that colorful shirt, like the card I was just showing from that raw deal, something like that. A piece of shoe of his shoe and a piece of the broken sunglasses from the event. That classic that video see like he's doing the rock bottom. He ends up doing the people's elbow. Yeah. Where he does the whole thing. Boom, bounces, comes over and he slides on those the shoes. Like he slides it like just and then drops the elbow. Like from that event, like that picture. like a autograph, like the triple threads, like line, one of each, kind of thing. Autographs the cards at tops like that. Almost like a booklet. I'm loving the booklets things. We always seem to do these booklets or these matchbook type things. So this like a matchbook where it just opens up, has a picture of him like getting ready to drop that elbow. I'm going against my normal, like I don't like action shots, but I'm going to use it for this one just because it's going to accompany the three pieces that kind of really talk about that particular scene that I like so much.
Let's take another sidebar real quick on the action shots. Your idea is perfect, and I would be a fan of action shots if they could start doing, and I don't know that any company has ever done this before. I'm sure I'm wrong, but nothing's standing out. If they could do a relic that's a photo match of the photo on the card, I can't think of anything that they've done that with other than, I mean, clearly if you do like a WrestleMania mat and they use the image from that person at that WrestleMania, sure. But as from what you're saying, like this piece of the shoe glasses is strictly
the closest I can think of would be the first Fleer release. They put out their foreign objects, and they had Jericho wearing the jersey, and that's the piece you got in the actual card itself was the jersey. It matched the photo.
So that is it then. That's the only thing.
That's the only thing that can really sticks out to me.
Right.
I know they have, sometimes you'll see a picture of like they're wearing a black shirt, like then they got a black, piece. Like it seems like a little to me. I guess the thing could be except for the jersey, but I've seen so many of like triple color jerseys that came from that foreign object set that it shows Jericho in his classic, like wearing that Y2J jersey, the red, white, and blue, and it's got a piece of red, white, and blue jersey in there, so it kind of really matches the picture.
Good call on that. And, I bet you if somebody really wanted to put in the work, I bet they could go back, and we see it with sports cards all the time where people are able to match up pieces of game used memorabilia to what you just said. And then going back and seeing like, okay, what events did they wear this in? Did they wear it at X amount of events? Some people do like to go back and do that work. So I think it's possible. My kind of card I would create, I'm actually going to pull this off of a Leaf design. And I know a lot of you listening probably have seen this, where it's just they put like a headshot of 4 different talents. The most recent one I can think of is that I want to say it's Hogan, Flair, Austin, and Kenny Omega. Is that right?
Yes.
And it just has the headshot of them, and then it has like auto or sticker auto depending on the card. And so I would do that with The Rock, except I would start off with Flex Cabana from Memphis, and then I would do Rocky Maivia, and then I would do The Rock, and then I would do Dwayne Johnson and do different headshots from each one of those different time periods. I think it would be amazing.
A quad auto, huh? The same
and
guy.
Hypothetically, if you were to do something like this with him, I mean, you may be talking about like a 6-figure card.
Oh, probably.
Because sticker auto or not, because of who it is, the quantity that's on there, and that something like this would be probably a 1 of 1 or very, very limited in the number of that's out there. So
it's our design, our fantasy, do whatever we want.
It's true. If it's a 1 of 1, that's definitely a 6-figure card.
Yeah, true.
All right, so closing it out, what do you think the future of the Rock cards are? And I think we're probably going to have, I think we kind of already had a semi-hot take in that we actually compared him to the Michael Jordan of wrestling cards earlier. And I know, a year ago, I don't know that we would have said that, because you would think Hogan or Austin or Flair, but I think he's kind of surpassed all those guys.
I do too. I think from a wrestling standpoint, arguments can be made, obviously, about whoever your GOAT is and stuff like that, your Mount Rushmore. We've talked about this, had episodes about that. But when it comes to those who've transcended the sport itself and become like household names, I mean, it's him and Hogan. I mean, we can go around and we can go to houses across the country, across the globe, and mention names, and I'll bet you the 2 top ones are going to be Hulk Hogan and The Rock. Yeah. And those are your 2 names, I think, that become like, that's your Ruth and Mantle, your Jordan and Kobe, if you want to equate that, I guess. I mean, that's what they are. And I think that sky's the limit. We've only seen the beginning of what something can happen for someone like The Rock. I don't care. In the years to come, they keep making cards. His cards are continue to keep selling. Yep.
Yeah. Even the stuff that I don't think, for example, I'm sure you saw that in Transcendent, you got a 50 card set, and it was either him or Ric Flair. Mm-hmm. And they were they were 50 cards that kind of spanned his whole career from start to finish. And, you know, at first I was like, why would anybody want 50 numbered cards all together in one set? And I know there's only 50 of the sets produced. So, but then I was like, you know, there's no autos. They are cool looking cards, but people are buying them. They're out there. Last time I saw, I did one of the videos on my YouTube channel for the Market Watch. I think it was like $300 to $500 somewhere in there for that. Like that's still a decent price for, you know, non-auto out of 50 of a set like that. So people are buying all kinds of stuff. I mentioned earlier that his base cards sell, his insert subsets, those all sell. And then of course you see the autos and the rookie cards and stuff fetching quite a bit. So I'm with you. I think as far as the hobby, cardboard relevance, mainstream appeal, and the money coming in to wrestling cards from sports cards and from the mainstream, it's The Rock.
You wait and see what happens when Panini starts putting out their prisms.
Oh my.
Like if there's a Rock card in that set, you have to think that there would be. Like, why would you negotiate a deal to take over a license if you can't get some of the most, the biggest names possible to be part of your product? So you'd have to think a Rock would be in there. And if you had you know, whatever these, you know, parallel cards of his, even though they're probably not numbered, they're going to go for big money. I mean, it's The Rock.
Yep. And could you imagine, even if it's a sticker auto, they get him to sign finally for a product? Like, forget it.
Forget it.
Yeah. All right. We're going to close the show with that. Tony, let everybody know where they can find you.
WrestlingTradingCards.com. That's all I have to say now. I'm just going to say WrestlingTradingCards.com.
Question. I know you have your YouTube channel at the bottom in the links. Is the link to Spotify for the shorts in there as well?
Way to call me out. Way to call me out. Way to make me feel like garbage, sir.
I'm just a fan of the shorts, and I know you were reluctant to do them at first, and I've listened to them. I'm like, man, this is great stuff. So
I'm still, you know, about it. It's almost like I have to be in a mood to do them, kind of thing. And I need some more, because I think as we're recording this coming up Friday, whatever hell that day it is, like that's my last one I have. I should do more. So nice about those, I just knock out like 4 or 5 of them in an evening, and it's an audio version, so it edits quick. But yeah, you're right. I got to put those on there. So,
all right. You can find everything I'm doing at Zhan Morning on pretty much all social platforms. Wrestling with Cards on YouTube, Wrestling with Cards, the podcast, and of course, right here on Worlds Collide. If you're enjoying what we're doing for you, whether it's this show, my show, Tony's show, someone else's show, if you like what we're doing and providing wrestling card content, please subscribe, whatever you're listening to this on. Share it with a friend, tell somebody about the show. Again, we're always trying to grow the listener base and grow the hobby in general. And yeah, we've got donation links. I've got an eBay store. Tony's got stuff you can buy. I've got Patreon. There's all kinds of ways you can help out monetarily to keep the shows going, for the costs that go into this and costs that go into producing any kind of merchandise that we have planned for the future. But enough of that. Anything else you got to say before we get out of here?
No, man. I was going to say, what was I going to say? I don't even know what I was going to say anymore. So
it's late.
Do you have any Rock cards that you're selling on your eBay account?
A lot of them.
It doesn't matter if you have any Rock cards you're selling.
I'm really glad
I had to be stupid with that.
I'm really glad you didn't say that when I was like, hey, please subscribe.
It doesn't matter if you subscribe.
And if you enjoy Tony's Rock impersonation, please leave a review. That also helps.
No, please don't. That was a horrible thing.
We want to know. Leave a review and put in the notes. Tony's Rock impersonation. Dave Meltzer, 5-star, 1-star. Let us know.
I like that you mentioned all the different places. I don't even care if it's our stuff, our individual stuff. Show support to anybody out there that's actually putting
all
out content
wrestling card content creators.
I mean, we're clearly seeing the market growing. We're clearly seeing the hobby growing. It can grow so much more, and it's going to grow more. But the only way that it continues to grow is for you to share it with other people and show some support to people out there. Whether just be hitting that like button. And it's all it takes. I
really think this is the year for wrestling cards. I kind of felt it going into the end of last year, but I've actually, everything that I've ever complained about on all these shows, like what's it going to take to get the mainstream in? What's going to take to get sports card guys in? What's it going to take to get those prices to the next level? We're slowly starting to see it all, which is very exciting. So come along with us. And until next week, keep collecting and having fun. And like I said, subscribe, tell somebody not only about the show, but about wrestling cards. We'll see you.